So, you know,
So the dark is the color.
yeah, yeah, but you know, the black is just
Just in
the
itself.
chemical composition is just so much stronger that it tends to bleed. Okay, so on your landscape, okay, these are already set. Okay, so once this dries, we're gonna force dry for hair dry. Normally I just let it dry, but once this dry, we're gonna heat set it, and I'll show you how to do that, like with a iron. But then we're gonna put dyes in here, and it won't go beyond the lines.
On a couple of places, you just put an independent line like here, and like here it is open. Is that an option, or do you need to close?
You really need to close it. I just,
everything?
yeah, do
Okay.
a demo. Okay.
Okay, so.
So
all right.
on this, I'm getting some really blobs in the beginning, which is, sometimes that happens and sometimes it doesn't, but, okay. So I'm not going down there and then going like that, okay? Or I'm not trying to. Okay, sometimes you can clean it. Okay, so I'm gonna enclose this because otherwise it's gonna, and then Anthea can play around with the rest of this if that's okay. Where'd you go? There you are. Okay. Now, you can also put little dots, okay? If the dye touches the resist and colors the resist, you're gonna get a faint color, right? You can't wash it out. And the rubber-based Gouda, we could, it wouldn't touch the rubber, you know. And then the rubber-based Gouda, the advantage was where you can slap a drawing underneath and trace directly, and it wouldn't bleed. These we can't. These we have to trace with pencil, and then I'm sorry.
Edit.
Okay. Forgot to turn it off. It always happens when you're recording. Okay, so that's what you're gonna do. So on these, because it's set already, and when we put the dyes, it's not gonna mix. You're going to be able to see some of the marks. Like if I put yellow, it's gonna become maybe a yellowish green, and then you should be able to see some of the marks. These, when I put the lines on, oh, this isn't mine.
That hasn't been washed.
No, that's okay. Yeah, this hasn't been washed. So, you know, if
Or
you want to
steamed.
continue to make more lines, but you have to think on this. You have to enclose your spaces. So it's a little bit tricky. If you want to save that, don't put dye there, okay? Because that'll dissolve that mark you made. But right here, you can, but then you have to be so careful and try to, or you can put a line here, and if you've got good control, you can put dye here and let it wick and stop before it gets to here. Okay, so this is like a practice sheet. You're trying to learn how to control some of this stuff. What a beautiful color back here.
That's beautiful.
All
You can
right.
adjust it.
Yeah,
And do you
and
see
then
the mountains?
like right
That's
here, if
yours?
you wanted to do lines, you can do lines, and then you can do something like this. Oops. This is what.
I can't do lines
Yes, you
because
can.
it has to be enclosed, so they would have to.
Yeah, you'll have to enclose it down here, okay? And then, but you can do this. You can do, skippy lines like this. Remember I said don't go fast because it'll skip. But when you do the dyes, it'll run out. Some of it
So
will
I could
bleed out.
have them open, the lines
Mhm.
open here.
So I want you to practice on the blobby one. We'll have to take these off and then practice on this. Don't let these guys get wet, okay, when you take them off, after you take them off. But, because they're not steam set. But you can do this, and you can just don't put a whole lot of dye, okay? And then just see how it moves, and you might like that mark it
Oh,
makes.
go ahead and do it even though it isn't set yet, to see what impact that has.
Yeah.
Okay.
But practice on your blobby ones, this piece. You have this piece?
Yeah, but
But you
this
have
has
to
already
wash
been
this
steam
first.
set.
Mhm.
This is not.
Mhm.
I think she's
No,
saying
what
we'd
I'm
like to
saying
see what
is-
it looks like when it's not been.
When it's not, when the lines are not enclosed, you might like that technique where it runs out.
After it's-
Yeah.
Oh, that
It
might
it
work.
doesn't matter if it's after or before.
No,
Okay.
that can depend on what part of her painting that she's, canvas she's doing. Because part of that's water, right? The blue is water. So it can look like waves.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
And
sparkling.
again, I can do that before it's steam set.
Or after, yeah. It's just that if you do it before it's steam set, you get to dissolve the color underneath more. On this, you can't dissolve the color. But if I do this, I can, let's say this was your water right here, okay? And let's say I just did a bunch of horizontal lines,
Yes.
okay, and they're not enclosed. I can add like a darker shade of blue here and there, okay, to go with the background. The background will not dissolve, but
So you dye it you're gonna add more dye after you do this.
But the,
This is not like an outline, this is just preventing it from going further out.
yeah. Okay, and it makes this, it holds this color right here. Like, let's say I wanted to keep this image, okay? If I'm really careful, I can, and know how that works, I can probably keep this edge if I'm really careful. See what I'm doing here? Okay, I might be able to keep that.
So whenever you put that on, it's gonna remain.
Hmm?
Whatever.
Yeah, it's gonna
remain.
preserve the
Preserve,
color
protect it,
underneath.
protect that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now you gotta paint over that all?
Don't paint to resist. Okay, you can if you want to, but
No,
don't.
but that's the purpose of this.
Yeah, because you want to experiment. So
It would be like wax in the watercolor.
like wax resist. Yeah. Uh-huh.
The next step after you
Wait,
finish.
can I
is
ask
to
you,
do what?
how did Gwen do
We
this?
we dry it with the hair dryer,
Okay.
and then I'll show you how to heat set. Okay, so that's going to be a problem with the hair dryer thing. We probably have to. Is there an outlet in the hallway?
I don't know, but we,
If there is, somebody should go out in the hallway because we don't want to blow a fuse.
So
I
did
don't know if the
Gwen do
fuse is-
this with the resist before she started? How
So
did
she didn't color the background. She just so it's kept the white.
This is resist, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
White
did
lines.
she do the resist before
yeah, I
she
did.
put any dye?
Yeah.
Yeah, this
So
was a
preserve
workshop,
the
so.
Yeah,
white.
'cause that's what I was,
Good
would
thing.
like
How
to
does she
accomplish.
know where those lines are? Because when she goes to put the dye, it stops.
We had a pattern, we drew it.
No.
Helen, there are two outlets in the hall,
Oh,
one at
good.
this end and one at this end.
Oh, good. So we'll just have to find hair dryers. But I tinted this slightly gray so we can see it better. But if it wasn't tinted, it's really hard to see. Okay, I sometimes will put a dark towel underneath so I can see the line, but it just reached a point where at my age I just really was straining my eyes too much. So if I wanted pure white lines, I would have to, rig up something. I tried lights, everything, but and then
Light
especially
settings.
on
And when
crepe,
it dries, it's hard to see. I could see
Yeah.
that if it was clear.
on the crepe de chine it was impossible to see. Okay, and the Hubble tie it wasn't so bad. So you will see it on this because your dyes, you can, because it's not white basically. Okay, so right now I only have 8 of these. Okay, so
I've
and then
already
I have-
done it, so.
Now wait,
do something
but this we first have to wash out.
Oh, yeah, first you have to wash out.
Dry it.
Yeah, take off your other one, carefully put it
And
somewhere it
then-
won't get wet. Wash out this, and then kind of pat dry it, and then hair dryer it, okay? So,
But these all had to be heated first, steam cleaned? or something?
those are steamed already, they're steam set.
You said you did that last week, right?
Yeah.
But if you wanted to do it on the one that's already been set,
Mhm.
you can do that. You don't have to wash it first because you're gonna yet set it, right?
Yeah, you don't have to, you don't want to wash it because it'll wash all the dyes out.
Right.
Yeah, you can do it on this one too, but I just thought it might be better to practice
Sure,
on this, yeah.
got it.
I noticed, you see where I had the tacks?
Mm-hmm.
Is that because when I did it initially, the dye didn't go underneath the tack, and so when we took it out
Mhm.
and then steamed it, it kind of set it
Yeah.
lighter? Okay, but when you go to wash it, that might soften?
It might.
Might not, okay.
Normally, when I use stretcher bars, I don't include I put a
Yeah.
line here, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't include this as part of it, but that's not,
I
if you like it, it works for you, then you can include it. This edge came out pretty nice, so this
Right.
can be, included, okay? And this one came out pretty cool too, all right? Nobody said, it has to be done a certain way.
Sure, I just want to know
Yeah.
how that happened. and-
Yeah, that's a
Here.
tack marks.
But
yeah.
on these, we just need to give these to you to steam.
Yeah, but I wanted you to practice with the resist, okay? All right, so I've got, let me show you how to unclog this. Sometimes, normally, after you finish, we're supposed to unscrew the tips and keep it in water because it clogs up. We cannot put a straight pin in here or stainless steel. For some reason, it corrodes. So these guys dry up, and then sometimes you have to run it under water, and I think this is a denture
One of those.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not strong, but you can actually,
They
you
got
know,
little rubber tips on.
yeah, kind of get it clean, and then you can clean it as much as you can. And then sometimes this part clogs up, but you screw it on, and then the first one's gonna have water, liquid, so always test on paper towel first. So you always test to make sure, you know, like you, because sometimes it'll be discolored because the, whatever is corroding this guy too. You know, I wasn't good about taking all these off.
Now you have to mix that particular,
Resist. Okay, so
Resist.
this was concocted by John Mitchell in New Zealand, and it wasn't that expensive, but the shipping was like $48
Wow.
for a $25 product.
Oh,
So he sold the formula to Jacquard, and they were finally able to find the ingredients in this country to make it. So I actually have not used the new formula because I hoarded this when I knew John Mitchell wasn't making anymore. I just bought as much up as I could from other people because I was in panic mode because I really wanted this. Plus I was teaching a workshop too, so.
But you've already mixed that with water, right?
Yeah, that's already been mixed with water, because when we buy it from John Mitchell, it's like, it's really thick, it's a consistency of frosting almost, okay? So, and then the jar will say instructions how to mix it and everything. Okay, so, I think that's on there good, all right? So I've got 8 of these right now, and I have to clean the nozzles on the others and get that going. So 8 of you guys can do this in the beginning.
but we first have to wash our.
Yeah, you gotta wash out your silk first, unless you're gonna use your one that's not been steam set. Okay? Any questions so far?
I don't like mine.
So how many people can wash at the same time?
One at a time.
That's what I thought.
Okay?
I know I probably missed this, but if I use the one that's not steam set, what can I expect? Like a lot of,
Don't wash the ones you haven't steam set.
no, but can I do this on the one I haven't?
Yeah.
But what is gonna happen is she's gonna get.
Your dyes will dissolve, so you can mix it, and if you already have texture and it's steam set, you won't lose the texture. If you have texture and it's not steam set, you will lose your texture. Okay? And then you have bars.
Yeah, yes, I already got it.
Okay, so who's gonna wash first?
So we would you ever do it on the unsteamed one? You would do this on the unsteamed one? Or
Yeah,
what?
okay, so that blue flower scarf, that hasn't been steamed.
It has not been steamed.
No, that hasn't been steamed,
Like
yeah.
you
So you can feel the resist in there, it's not steamed yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this one would be in cool water.
Oh, that's cool. I'm
No,
not
you
used
would
to
start
that.
with hot water, okay? So you need to get your area ready first. And Thea, I'm gonna have to borrow this still, because I gotta, unless you wanna dry it in the hairdryer, but, because I gotta show you. Oh, actually, yeah, put some on the other side. Go ahead and do some of the demo, yeah. You should do it. Here you go, Anthea. Anthea. Oh, you got this, okay.
Do you want us to take the ones off the frame that we did yet? No, don't take it up.
That's not,
Oh, yeah, you have to start. Right, that's what I was thinking, okay. Yeah, you're right.
This one,
once you've done this, yeah, because you gotta, otherwise we'll be here for an hour. Yeah. Oh, whoa, okay. This one's done already.
and I don't know how to do that.
Floss surface, I think. That's what it said on the package.
No, last week. Yeah. The one that's been steam scheduled you did week before that.
We'll move it twice.
Mine is like steam scheduled.
It'll be a
Thing react.
I want to get it white. What? You want the area on the Get the area on your table ready for.
Oh, so mine used to.
Yeah.
They knocked my towel.
Where is your towel?
Right there, see it?
Okay, before you
And
go.
since I don't really
Is this
like
your towel right here?
You need to ask for,
for practice,
I don't want you.
and I'll wash this, I like it better,
I
so.
like that one. I like this one actually. I don't like this one.
Is yours the blobby one or the?
No, we're here with that. Yeah, you're gonna have to wash yours and,
Only go up from
I wasn't
here.
here, so that's how I did what, that's what I was.
yeah, so you can wash that, and I don't think you have to put it on, see if you can find this one, I don't put you Make another. Can you show me this? Keep dumping it. Here, right? Yeah, you keep dumping the water. Here, you're done.
So I just.
You don't have any more dye on it. You did start with hot water, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I should wash it first, and then use the subboard.
Yeah. I don't know you on the short. You know what, somebody is not coming back.
Yeah.
Not good.